Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the kitchen. Welcome back to what was on sale at the grocery store today. This chicken was on sale. $5 Canadian for chicken. Pretty good sized chicken. Relatively decent price in today's economy. And so we're going to do sort of a tray bake roasted chicken type thing with some vegetables. I just went out to the garden and picked our own asparagus, which is coming up like wild out there. That's the ultimate and inexpensive in the springtime. Absolutely love it. Today is a method, not a recipe. It's a method. And I think that's important for a lot of people to sort of understand that if you can get a few methods under your belt, I absolutely despise this bottle of oil. The pour spout takes so long. Anyway, if you can learn a bunch of methods, you can change the flavors, you can change the protein, you can change the vegetables. If you know the basics of how to make this work, you don't need to be a slave to a recipe. And one of the other things that I think is great about cooking is that once you can, I'm going to finish this bottle of oil so I don't have to deal with this spout anymore. If you can sort of grasp some methods and free yourself from the idea that you have to follow a recipe and you have to do everything exactly. If you find cooking in the kitchen to be a daunting or an unhappy experience, if you free yourself from all of that, cooking will be easy. Cooking will be fun. Cooking will be interesting. Don't worry that, some guy has been yelling at you for the last 20 years telling you that you have to do it one way and there's only one way that you can do things. There isn't. Free yourself. So in this jug, I have oil and vinegar. So the oil helps to brown the vegetables and the skin on the chicken. The vinegar brings an acid, which sort of brings out all of the other flavors. The oil also acts as a carrier to get the flavors onto the veg and the chicken. Then you just have to decide, what flavors do you want to use? And I'm sure everyone out there is going to have jars of spices in their cupboard, already made up spice blends that you like. You're not going to have the same brands as me. You're probably not going to have the same names on the labels as me. They're going to be called something different. The brand will definitely be different in the United States, even though it's the same company as the one we have here in Canada. You will also probably maybe have, like I do, a whole bunch of homemade spice blends in the cupboard that you could use as well. And you could make this once a month for a year and never do it the same way twice. So tonight I think I'm going to do, this is a harissa spice mix. I'm going to put that in. Okay, and I read the label. This spice mix has salt in it, so I probably won't add any salt to the rest of the dish. So I'm going to put that into the oil and vinegar, and we'll mix that together. That's good. Doesn't have to be overmixed. So I've got a baking pan, a roast pan, whatever you want to call it. And into it, I'm going to put some peppers. I've got red and yellow peppers. They were from the ugly pile at the grocery store, so really inexpensive. I've got red onion, and I'm using red onion because I got a 5-pound bag of red onions for $2 a couple weeks ago. Got Cubanelle pepper. I had this turnip in the fridge. Needed to go. I was using it for another recipe and I had one left over. Got some carrots. In they go. This is our homegrown asparagus. In it goes. And I've got some Kalamata olives here. Not too many left in the bottom of the jar. So let's just get them out of the jar. And so maybe a half dozen of them. I really like them in a dish like this. They bring a nice salty flavor, briny flavor to the whole thing. I'm using Kalamata. You could use any type of olive if you like olives. If you don't like olives, capers. Capers would be really good in this, depending on what your spice mix is. Really, it's up to you. So I'm going to put about half in there. And normally I would use my hands. But today I'm going to use tongs because sometimes it gets really time-consuming washing my hands 30, 40 times just to make a dish. So roll this around. You want to get everything coated. You could do this in a bowl beforehand if you were using a sheet tray like a cookie tray or something like that. Look at that. That looks really good. Everything's coated. So take that away and we'll bring over the chicken. And so I'm going to spatchcock the chicken. And if you've watched me spatchcock chickens in the past, you'll know that I don't use scissors and I don't do it the way that is really common or popular today. I use a much older sort of French method that is super easy. You only need a knife and there's minimal cutting through bone. So when you just put your finger inside the cavity of the chicken, you're going to see a natural seam that runs between the breast and the thigh. And it runs right down here on both sides. And so you just sort of lift it up and you cut through there. And there's no bone at all. There's the rib cage, right? So here's the rib cage. Here's the thigh. And you're going to get down to this point. Inside here is the backbone. Through the backbone, and your dark meat is removed. Now, there's a little bit of the rib cage right here, right there. And so it's really easy. Your knife goes in, and that little bit of backbone and neck comes out. And so this way works incredibly well for me. It separates the chicken into light meat and dark meat. And the light meat and the dark meat cook at different times. They take different amounts of time. A very classical French way of spatchcocking a bird. Okay, so slide this over, get rid of this, bring our tray of veg back in, take our chicken, put it in here, and pour the rest of that oil mixture over top and get in there now with your hands and rub it in all over. Get it everywhere. Okay, now there was salt in the mixture, in the spice mix, but I still want to add just a little bit of salt over top of the chicken skin because it's fantastic that way. You could, if you were really worried. I'm not. Obviously, I've got both pieces of chicken in here now. If you were really worried about it, you could just do the thighs, 15 minutes, and then put the breast or the white meat in after. Just to give it a head start. Really simple. Oven's at 375, and I'll give it about an hour before I come back and start checking for doneness with a temperature probe. There we go. Okay.
Hey, Glenn. Hey, just is that a spatchcocked chicken?
Spatchcock chicken.
Ooh, cookies!
Oh. So
I spied the cookies. I got too many forks. I got so excited about the cookies.
So we got really good caramelization on the vegetables, mostly because I misjudged the time. I put it in too early, didn't need to cook as long.
I got back late.
So
all those things, yeah.
So it's really caramelized, and the chicken is
It's gonna be good.
It's cooked. It's
asparagus.
Good. Asparagus in there from the garden. Yep.
The spring gift of asparagus.
I love that stuff. Let's see. What do you want? Let's do white meat.
Okay.
Really nice crispy skin.
Oh, get me out of the way. Here we go. Let me give you some space.
And
look at that.
Chicken just comes apart. Look at that. Okay. Some chicken.
Did you pull that skin off so it's all for you? What's going on there?
No, I'll share the skin. I cut it in half.
So I'm just gonna. Thank you. It's all crispy.
That skin's great.
Actually, too much. That's a little too much. I'm gonna break that in half. Hot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's roasted chicken. It's roasted chicken. What can you... The flavor's really good.
How can it go wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Asparagus.
So,
That's really good.
any spicing, any protein. This could be turkey. If chicken thighs are on sale, use chicken thighs. If chicken legs are on sale, use chicken... Could be pork chops. Use any spice that's in your cupboard. Use any mix of vegetables that you like. It's the method of just sort of putting it all together and sticking it in the oven.
If all you've got is salt and pepper,
Yeah.
Now you've got a salt and pepper. My
Salt and pepper.
friends,
So,
enjoy it.
Yeah, so a little bit of oil.
Ooh, there are olives in there too?
Yeah, and a little bit of vinegar. That acidity is really nice. So, all told, there's about $8 worth of food here. Julie and I will eat this tonight for dinner, tomorrow for dinner, and then probably a couple days for lunch.
Probably, yeah.
You can eat really well.
Add some
inexpensively.
potatoes on the side or some rice on the side, and you can
for tomorrow
stretch
and
that
the next
out.
day, and you can stretch it out. You can eat relatively inexpensively and really well. Thanks for stopping by. See you again